Hello, it is the 20th of August 2021. This is episode 30 of my series about Parkinson's and things related to that. And this evening we're going to talk about sleep. You are getting very sleepy. No, you're not. Sleep. I have a paper in front of me. It's called The Effects of Exercise on Sleep in Neurodegenerative Disease by Adil Memon, Juliana Coleman, and Amy Amara. This is published under a Creative Commons license, which means I think I can quote safely from it. And this paper is about sleep. I'm going to read the abstract. As the population ages, the incidence and prevalence of neurodegenerative disorders will continue to increase. Persons with neurodegenerative disease frequently experience sleep disorders, which not only affect quality of life, but potentially accelerate progression of the disease. Unfortunately, pharmacological interventions are often futile or have adverse effects. Therefore, investigation of non-pharmacological interventions has the potential to expand the treatment landscape for these disorders. The last decade has observed increasing recognition of the beneficial role of exercise in brain diseases, and neurodegenerative disorders in particular. In this review, we will focus on the therapeutic role of exercise for sleep dysfunction in 4 neurodegenerative diseases, namely Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. Available data suggests that exercise may have, this is interesting, exercise may have the potential to improve sleep disorders and attenuate neurodegeneration, particularly in Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. However, additional research is required. Never met a paper before that said, we don't need any more research. Additional research is required in order to understand the most effective exercise therapy for these indications, the best way to monitor the response to interventions, the influence of exercise on sleep dysfunction in Huntington's disease and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and the mechanisms underlying exercise-induced sleep modifications. Well, I hope that didn't put you to sleep. Yeah, I have Parkinson's and I have a lot of problems with sleep. Lately, I've been waking between 3 and 4 a.m., unable to get back to sleep, woken by the tremor. That means the level of dopamine in my brain has gone down to the level overnight, even though I take dopamine tablets before I go to bed. Overnight, the brain is somehow depleted of the dopamine, and as a result I wake up with a severe tremor, or I think the tremor is the one that wakes me rather than anything else, but it's pretty consistent between 3:30, 4:30, quite a while. And after a while you sometimes learn that maybe you can get back to sleep if you take another tablet in the middle of the night, and then after an hour it kicks in and you can get back to sleep. Or you stay awake and surf the internet and look for things to put you to sleep, which hopefully this isn't one of those things. So, why am we talking about exercise? Because that paper we just read the abstract from is called The Effects of Exercise on Sleep in Neurodegenerative Disease. So it has some effect. It starts, and I'm quoting another paper, starts by summarizing the main things that affect sleep in people with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and other diseases. Number 1, damage to the sleep-wake system in the brain. That disrupts the circadian rhythm, and it means that normal sleeping and waking patterns are disrupted. Number 2, there are secondary mechanisms, which include a raft of things like side effects of medications, having to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, done that a few times. Poor sleep hygiene, which is more about the environmental factors, noise, light, other factors, coolness, temperature, and humidity. These are factors you should be able to control. Sleep-related breathing disorders. Okay. So this relates to things like sleep apnea is certainly a factor, and the environment in which you try to sleep. So the paper then looks into some of the research of exercise and sleep. They compared some people who do exercise, some people who do not, all with Parkinson's, and see how they can compare. And yeah, there's a lot of different exercise protocols, the frequency of the exercise, the way they measure. We're going to start just by looking at the Parkinson's. Sorry, Alzheimer's people. Yeah, we'll get to you another time. There was a standout study, it says, that used polysomnography, a method of assessing sleep quality, as one of its measurement tools. I believe that's where they wire the brain with electrodes just to see how the different rhythms occur in the brain during the sleep function. And there's certain things a sleeping brain does. For example, certain waves slow down in sleep, but if they buzz around, that means you're overexcited in your brain and you can't get to sleep or you wake up. That's a common problem with the insomnia. So 2 groups were selected. One group did high intensity exercise training 3 times a week for 16 weeks. That sounds like a lot of work. The other group was given expert information on sleep hygiene. Yes, that sounds good. The things that they do that lead up going to bed and going to sleep. You know, things like, do you drink hot milk or other substances before you go to bed? Traditionally, that is one method. There are downsides. Anyway, without further ado, I think you can guess the results. The high intensity exercise made a big difference. Significant improvement in getting to sleep, total sleep time, and some other sleep measures. But the quality of the exercise, well, shuffle around the backyard, it doesn't count. It has to be high intensity. You've got to push the limits. Movements have to be big. Heart rate has to be pounding, and you've got to have a little bit of sweat. So, you know, real exercise. None of this namby-pamby. Well, namby-pamby might be all you can manage, so do the best you can. So why does sleep matter? Well, it makes a huge difference. Sleep problems will affect most people with Parkinson's. It's very difficult to treat. Yeah, you can take medications, but some of them are not effective. There's side effects. I personally have avoided any sort of sleep medications, maybe apart from valerian root herb teas, something like that. But I'm certainly considering them with these changes as a result of Parkinson's. Yeah, medications can have side effects. Sleep problems certainly make life miserable for the person with Parkinson's, not to mention anyone else who might be sharing the bed at the same time. People with Parkinson's can improve an existing sleep problem with exercise, and serious exercise can delay the development of worse sleep problems. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah. The other thing, let's see. Yep. So if you've got Parkinson's, you should really look at protecting your sleep quality. And the way to do that is to have regular and very serious exercise. Another thing that might be effective, and I'm testing out, is the use of photobiometric light altering devices, LED helmets and other devices. There's intranasal, there's the laser type, which I showed you before. Something involving frequency red light and specific frequencies with specific protocols for specific durations. Yeah, I'm not an expert on that. You just have to try and see what works. But those are 2 things which do seem to help: exercise and red light therapy. Now, my own exercise, I've had a challenging relationship with exercise over the years, but I've finally settled on a pattern. So what I do is I've set myself a target, which is daily exercise, and that is brisk walking. For various reasons, I find it challenging to run, so I walk briskly and consistently, and I keep a heart rate above 100 beats per minute. Maybe that doesn't sound brisk to you, but for me it's brisk. My heart rate typically sits around 55, 60 beats per minute, so I have a very slow heart rate. Doesn't mean I'm super fit, it just means I have a slow heart rate. Anyway, how do I get my heart rate up? Brisk walking. How often do I do it? Once or twice, but usually just once a day. How long do I do it? Typically just over an hour, 5 kilometers. I'm very fortunate that I live in London and I live near a park, and it's just great to be able to walk to the park and walk around the park, and in that park I can walk and walk and walk, and sometimes I stop and I take pictures of leaves and flowers and birds and things, and I then carry on my walk and get the exercise that way. So that is an option. If you can, walk every day. Now, ideally, high intensity exercise is the thing. That means walking and running. Some of you may not have the lung capacity to run at full speed. You can jog. If you can't jog, then sprint a little bit. Well, not really sprint, but go as fast as you can and then go slowly until you recover. So that's called interval training. Anyway, 3 times per week is ideal for vigorous exercise, and for regular exercise, well, just do what you can. So my recommendation is do exercise if you can, because so many ways. It's very beneficial in terms of Alzheimer's, in terms of a neuroprotective effect on the brain. Getting that pulse going, getting the blood pumping, getting the circulation going, these are important things for the protective effect in regard to both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And certainly the wide range of scientific papers confirm that it is beneficial, so there should be no doubt in your mind. Now, how do you motivate yourself? Motivation. I kind of think of myself as being a little bit OCD, but that's not politically correct to say that, so I won't say that. I just did. You didn't hear that from me. If you have certain differences in the way you think about things, and if you find that you engage sometimes in behaviors a little bit compulsively, as I do, then what I found effective was to harness that tendency and specifically link it to the exercise program. And that's what I've done. So when I go for my daily walk, I walk every day. Rain, sunshine, wind. If I can walk, then I try to walk every day. And that, I think, is the key. I use Strava. That's an app. It's free. It's used for tracking exercise, and I use that to motivate myself. So every day when I go for a walk, I track where do I walk. So I have an objective map that shows the speed and the location of my travel. It also tracks how long I've been going, and it allows me to capture those photographs I told you about earlier and link them to different places in the journey. And so in a way, it's a way to look back on what I've done and also look forward, because I do it in a sequence. And so I can look at my Strava app and I can say, okay, I've done 320 successive days with exercise every day. And as long as I keep doing that, I know that things are good. So get better, get healthy, get moving, get some exercise. Have a great day. Bye.